So we launched Pandora a year and a half ago, and that was 6 years before we started this company, and about 5.5 years before or after we analyzed our first song, which was Dancing Queen by ABBA. We've come a long way since then. I love that song. And this last year and a half has really been, an amazing year for us. And I think probably the most gratifying part of it is to watch this audience grow so fast and to see it grow entirely by word of mouth. To have, to not advertise this and to have this sort of incredible embrace from music listeners has been really wonderful for us. And I think that it demonstrates the sort of unmet appetite there is around for a better form of radio, and I think for music in general. I think most folks, when they get to be a little bit older, even 20s I'm talking, get disconnected from music. And it's not that they don't lose their love of it, but they just can't find it anymore. And radio's not speaking to them, and it becomes a hobby, and the CD changer never gets changed. And I think Pandora has offered sort of a way back for these people. As of 7 p.m. tonight, we have 6,811,359 Pandora listeners. And these listeners are not just joining in great numbers, but they're also spending a lot of time interacting with Pandora. They're very active, very engaged. They've done something on Pandora over 2 billion times, so given thumbs, bookmarked songs, looked up artists, bought things. And they've created stations from over 250,000 unique artists and songs. So 250,000 individual names of artists and songs have been used to start stations. Compare that to what radio has always been. This is a completely new ballgame. So we're talking about folks launching things from old classic country tunes, the latest R&B stuff, bluegrass, you name it. Huge breadth of habits and listening sort of tastes that are being accommodated by internet, which is unconstrained by the sort of bandwidth problems or rather the frequency problems that terrestrial has. So online, you can have hundreds of thousands of stations and more. They've also been very active with thumbs. Over 500 million thumbs have been given on Pandora, which has provided, of course, great opportunity to sort of refine stations individually, but also for us to enhance the sort of overall radio for everybody. We've also had a really big bear hug from the blogosphere. I think the credit for Pandora's early growth, part of it certainly goes to the sort of wonderful group of bloggers that in the very beginning started writing about us and spread very, very quickly. And not only are they using blogs, but communicating with email. We have a wonderful team of listener advocates at Pandora who spend their days corresponding with listeners. We respond individually to every single email. And we learn an awful lot from these emails. Everything that goes into Pandora really comes now from listeners. We listen to what people want us to do, what they like and don't like, and it's communicated through email. Thought I'd throw up a few examples up here. This is from Seattle. We sent him a bottle of water and a power bar, for which he was very grateful. This is a feature we're working on. It's also, I think, been great for us to see and to hear testimony from a lot of listeners who are saying that Pandora is changing their habits with regards to downloading music illegally. And as a musician myself, and as a company that is made up largely of musicians, this is really important for us. And I think a lot of people have said for a long time that give people the kind of music experience that they want, and they'll stop doing it. And I think that's true. I think basically people really do respect the sort of effort that musicians put out, and if you give them the right service, they will support musicians by buying things, and we have certainly seen that here. We just love this. This is a small part of a rap set to music that was sent to us. We get a lot of these notes from folks that I think are, kind of their way of giving us some love. And one of our favorites here. If you want the full version, send me an email. Gemisphere said she'd be happy for more people to read this thing, so I'm happy to send that out for you. Not all of them are positive, and we welcome this kind of feedback. This is not the only email like this that we've received. We don't always get it right. I mean, Pandora is not a perfect engine. The Music Genome Project is a work in progress, and we learn a lot from the emails that come in that are from folks who are not happy with what we have. Again, to the purchasing thing, 40% of people on Pandora are buying more music, and a lot of them are telling us about it. This image actually was part of the email that somebody sent to us. It's really wonderful to get these things. Another sort of wonderful illustration of the range of listeners that we have. Folks from their early teens into their 70s and 80s. I mean, who would have thought this fellow, who would have thought this guy would be using a brand new browser-based web application? I don't think he knows what that means. But when we designed Pandora, one of the most sort of fundamental premises was let's make it easy to use. So you have, regardless of your technical or musical sophistication, you can jump on Pandora and get going, and it's easy. And we get a lot of folks of this age bracket that are using Pandora, and I think in the long run, this is something that can be used by everybody. So not only have we been corresponding with people, but we've had a lot of meetups. Thousands of people have come to our gatherings, much like this, across the country. We've been to, I think we've had about 75 of these gatherings. And they've been, of course, fabulous opportunities for us to speak to people directly. I mean, there's nothing like being in front of an audience and saying, hey, what do you think about this feature? And just getting a show of hands. And we've been everywhere, Biloxi, Mississippi, Lansing, Michigan, New York City. The first town hall meeting we had, there were 2 people at it in Manhattan. And the last time I went to New York, there were close to 300. And I think not only has it been wonderful for us as a company and educational and gratifying, but I think also another symptom of the kind of energy that exists, the sort of potential energy among music fans. I think that music is this wonderfully universal passion that everybody holds and that crosses all sort of ethnic, cultural, and economic boundaries. One of the best parts of these town hall meetings is being in a room with 100 or 200 or more complete strangers. And by the end of the evening, I think everybody feels a certain commonality. And I think it's music that's sort of tying that all together. There's 2 sides to this whole experience, of course. There's the listener side, which I've been illustrating here. But there's also the music and the musicians. And that's, of course, something that's very near and dear to me. Pandora listeners have listened to almost 5 billion songs from close to 40,000 artists. This is a huge change from the sort of traditional radio format. We're talking about a massive catalog of musicians that are starting to get exposed to a large audience, the kind of audience that could, take their profession from one where they're not quite getting by to a profession where, they're making a living at it. And I think we'll all be better off if there's an easier way for musicians to make a living. 40% of people who are using Pandora are buying more music since they started using the service. And the average music sales rank of a CD purchased by a Pandora listener is 141,321. So that means from the #1 sales all the way down to 141,321, that's for the average. So this is music that ain't getting bought. And Pandora, because we don't know if this song is popular or not, we don't care, we're just as likely to suggest something to you that's wildly obscure, or in some cases, to someone's earlier comment, is a rediscovery. This might be a CD that used to sell back in the 50s or 60s or 70s, and it's been fallow for a while. And Pandora reintroduces it to you. So that's a really, I think, fun statistic for us to see. 94% of the music in our multiple hundreds of thousands collection plays every single day. So again, this is not what radio used to be. This is sort of a whole new ball game. And over half of the music that we play comes from independent artists. So I think that we're on the cusp of something.